Wha- What's up? What's up, gamers? It's Cahill, back at it again with an. I need to stop doing that. Just in the case of like anyone new actually being here, you know what I mean? Like in the event that is actually somehow someone's first like impression of me, that'd be bad. They don't know if I'm doing a bit or not, so it would probably just be better if I really toned down how much I do like the fake, you know, the fake cheesy YouTube personality. Oh, who knows? But yeah, I hope everyone's having a good day. Oh my lord. I'm gonna set a reminder for tomorrow, but I swear, my family texts me to check random stuff as I start streaming. And it's also wild because I don't even know why. Why it's wild. I don't know. Oh, it's wild because fucking I was just like, I decided I'm not streaming at a desk right now, I'm streaming from bed. And I was like, yeah, surely this will be fine. I won't have to jump out for any reason, but oh well. But yeah, honestly, I'm just a little sleepy, which I mean happens as the week goes on. We'll see it. I mean, I don't have any plans tomorrow night. Oh my goodness, listen to that. So I guess we'll end up seeing whether or not I stay awake at all after work or if I go right to sleep. But tonight I wanted to make sure I stayed up to get some art done. So at least there's that. We were working on this before, I don't know if anyone remembers, but we're gonna get back to it. Because I mean, heck, I actually made some pretty good progress in the realm of books, so I definitely think it's worth continuing this. I'm trying to think. You know something I think might be good? Oh lord. We don't need to be that big. Also, yes, okay. Boop. Yeah. I think having this side of this little dome piece right here be uninhibited by like a blocky structure like the rest is, that did not make it look good, so fix that up. I might like, depending on how much of this is just me trying to do straight lines for buildings, we'll see how much I even have to use like my stylus. Because honestly, whenever I'm doing straight lines in CSP and what have you, I always think that I don't know, I just use the touchpad. I'll just be over here stroking my touchpad. And by my touchpad, let's just say my peanuts. I'd apologize, but you know I'm gonna do that joke again at some point. Probably in like the near future. So also I did just actually no. Yeah, that was fine. I mean, let's see. I mean, I'm probably gonna use that little blur thing I did on the one card I was working on. Help make it look more realistic, but we'll see. It's hard to say what the future will hold. So yeah, I just run around non-stop at work. So what was I thinking of? I was gonna say the word. I was gonna say the sentence. I can't help but wonder. That might. I don't know if that's grammatically correct or not. Anyway, I can't help but wonder how well this might do outside of like small streaming community and everything once it's released, because you know, I'm really not expecting it to go balls to the walls, but it'll be what it is. So I'm just kind of curious. I was tempted to Google. There's so many things where I like. When you're talking to someone, there's always that thing where they might be like, you should just Google it, and be like, well, I was asking someone, but alright, fine. But then every now and then you Google something and the internet's just like, I don't know. And I'm just like, what the fucking... What good are you then? Like... Just the fact that every now and then... It's not even like there isn't a answer out there. It's just that the best thing search engines can come up with is people on the internet saying, I don't know. So I feel like I'll get that a lot going to different websites and what have you. Is like, that'll be a very... It'll be picked up real easy by search engines, and thus, you know, when you ask your question, that's what comes up. But for some reason, someone on there felt the undeniable urge to comment, nope, got nothing for you. I'm like, fucking... It's not even as useful as saying, oh wow, that's gonna be a like I can't tell you my... Because there is... You could make the argument, it is worth informing someone, oh hey, you know, that's a real hard question. I don't have the answer, and I'm not really sure how many people would, you know, just highlighting that whatever you're trying to ask is out there, and either secondhand information might not be trustworthy, etc., but just straight up saying, oh, good luck. Like, fucking... I've almost definitely talked about this before, is the thing. The internet not being helpful, as it so typically is. Maybe that's just what it is now. Maybe it was never helpful. Did we think about that? I love how I've in the book, I've described like the city this takes place in as like very space age 60s looking. But I am just kind of going off of a modern Los Angeles picture. Listen, the inside can, the street level can look, you know, space age 60s style. Alright? Heck, I'm not even necessarily chasing this one for one, I'd argue. But I'm also not like... I'd argue the point of the cover isn't necessarily to bring attention to the city. Heck, it kinda is, but I don't know. The whole scene's supposed to catch attention, you know what I mean? Like, I would argue a city standing alone in the desert on top of fucking half a pyramid. That's already noteworthy, right? And the fact that this guy in a big old coat's apparently hitchhiking out of there. Is this not enough? Are you not entertained? Everyone now is a big thing. That's from the movie Gladiator, right? I haven't seen that movie. But for a while, that's just how people would respond to some things, you know? Just the whole, oh, you're not entertained. As a gif. You know what I should probably add here? The Space Needle. Add a little Space Needle in the midst of Los Angeles. Just because, when I was looking up that kind of architecture that dominated a lot of like atomic age and sci-fi, what have you, that was one of the main buildings that came up as an example for the artistic style. I forget what it's exactly called, which is why I'm not giving it its proper name here, because I don't want to mess it up and then get corrected by someone on the internet. I was just complaining about the internet. I don't need to get corrected by people on it. Oh yeah, I wanted to have this building in here, so I want to make sure I didn't lose it. How do you lose a woman? You forget to cherish her. Bum 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 bum. Oh. I will say, I think it was me yesterday asking me what art program I use. The one complaint I have about CSP in terms of being an art program is that it can be real hard to actually do like straight up and down lines, as opposed to in Photoshop where when you hold shift, the lines just kind of snap to a grid. So drink some water. Oh my goodness. But yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I cannot help but fantasize. Music kind of jump scared me a bit, I'm not gonna lie. Cannot help but fantasize about this doing well. And then I'm able to live off of it, but we'll see. It's not like I haven't thought about that with streaming. And streaming's still just a hobby. Fun activity to do. Keep a tight schedule. But I don't know, it'd be cool. It'd be cool to make some successful writing. I do remember a friend in a Discord was talking about taking a snippet of it and entering it as like a short story in a magazine. And I didn't know that was a thing. I was like, hey, that's an amazing idea. Granted, I'd still have to find a magazine to do it with, but I'd still argue great idea. Also, I'm just checking something real quick. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna, well actually, leave that there. There we go. Messing with audio levels. Trying to make them good. Honestly, this should just be salt black over here. Man, I wanted to make that reference. You know the funny line Trunks says in Dragon Ball Super with Goku Black? Yeah. You can't really just say that line randomly without the clip. You can't have that as a vocal stim. It's a bad idea. It is funny though. It is funny they went with that. Listen, Toyotaro and Toriyama didn't catch anything wrong. They didn't know what... They were like, yeah, seems fine to me. Everything cool here. Business as usual over here at Dragon Ball. They are not native English speakers. Question. Does being a native speaker of something include, like, slang terms? You know? Like, if I'm applying to job in singular job. If I'm applying to the one job in France, the only job open at all in France, and I claim to be a native French speaker, right? Are they expecting me to know, like, the hottest and latest French slang? Or are they just like, no, we only want you to be able to speak in a professional manner. We do not care about your knowledge of colloquial French, you know, buzzwords. I don't know if any of that if I don't know if any of that sentence made sense, but you get grammatical sense, but you go, I've said many times, I'm not even a native English speaker. My first language is stupid. That looks nice. That looks like a building with many floors. Our house. In the middle of our house. Our house. In the middle of our house. Our house. In the middle of our house. I love how that is kinda... That video has kind of been a big thing for Barry. Just in that it was one of the last things he made before he left Game Grumps all those years ago. And then he kind of themed his stream around it as a bit, right? But like, I remember 1 or 2 times I've seen people repost that video and then comments be like, what the fuck is this? And then and a few odd people are like, oh, Game Grumps. And I'm like, damn. They didn't even name the specific man. It's just weird to get perspective on, like, kind of an inside joke, outside looking in, you know? Not that I'm trying to be like, me and Barry, we're on the inside. No. I'm part of the secret club of the millions of people who have seen this meme. And the thousands of people who watch Barry's stream. That'd be called a parasocial relationship. And I try not to dive into those. Man, you know what I should watch again on a day I have off? Because I definitely don't want to watch this on like a day I have work or what have you. I should watch Inside. You know, speaking of parasocial relationships. Inside is so fucking good. Deja texted me about that literally like yesterday, about just like I played an Inside song by hitting shuffle. And I forgot how good that was. He's like, damn straight. Inside is legitimately so good. If y'all haven't seen Bo Burnham's Inside, give it a shot. Is it one of those Netflix things that's come to DVD? I've heard that every now and then Netflix puts their stuff off on DVD for whatever reason, in spite of, you know, their entire business model. Is Inside one of those things? Can it be? Can I have Inside without worrying about getting a Netflix subscription? I'd love that. Oh, that'd be my favorite. Uh-oh. I didn't oopsie on a menu to the side. Stream didn't see, so it's kind of all chill. You wanna know the one hiccup in my fucking room plan? The one hiccup in my room plan is that in my bed, which I'm currently sitting in to stream right now, the wall behind it, we've hung up this really cool big poster my family got a long time ago, and I've like inherited as my own, right? But it's big. Like it's a big man. So it basically goes from the ceiling to my bed. So when I'm trying to sit up in bed, my back is getting like poked by the lower ridge. So that's a whole thing. Man, I know you could say this about even the worst Sonic games, but fucking Frontiers had a good soundtrack. That was Frontiers, right? Yes, it was good. I thought so, but I couldn't be sure. Not to put him on blast or anything, but today in his Discord, Pig was asking about the name of aesthetics in different sci-fi properties and stuff. And I responded talking about how, well, I think it's like this mixed with just like general like Western vibes, you know. He was asking about like Cowboy Bebop and what have you. And he's like, well, no, because I don't really think it's that specifically. I'm like, well, you're not wrong. And you could, like, because I was just thinking of the tech, right? And like, sure, you could make a new term for like the aesthetic of like sci-fi in rural and Western settings. But it's kind of, I don't want to say it's redundant, but more so, I think the problem is that inherently, it is the mixing of like two aesthetics. So, I don't know. It can be real hard to find like good like the aesthetics of particular properties, just because I mean AI's only made it harder, and Lord is that shit, but you know, just because you can look up the terms that you could look up any amount of terms to describe it, and it'll just kind of give you almost like cheesy clip art and what have you that vaguely matches that description. So even before the dawn of AI, there was no winning. You know, I hope if we develop proper thinking machines, we get a new term for them outside of AI, because I really feel like those waters have been tainted. And I don't want the living machines to be upset by all the nasty comments over AI, a thing that is categorically worse than them. I would prefer new robotic friends have a better impression of the world than that. Not even out of any BS like, oh, they'll take over. No. Just trying to make a good first impression. Lord. Like, can we all just be civil here for the machine's sake, please? This little guy's trapped in a calculator. He couldn't do anything nasty if he wanted to. You're just making him sad. So. Hello? Zaid? Zaid? You know I love Zaid. What was Zaid doing? Yo, 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 yo. I don't know what you were... But yeah, I'll just click on your channel. Yeah, I can't... I have no... Oh, was it Windblown? Is that what it was called? I don't recognize that game even a little bit. But I hope you were having fun during it. Demos! Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Hope you enjoyed them. Welcome in, Raiders. My name's Cahill. If you don't know me, I'm an artist and I play games here a lot when I'm not doing art. I love me some platformers and action games. So, I mean, recently we've been doing Resident Evil, but also Epic Mickey and Monster Hunter, so Streamlabs being a butt though, isn't it always? Heck, I've been using Stream Elements for so long at this point. And that's not like a Zaid, you are using Stream Elements. No. I was just quick to jump because, you know, hearing about those specific kinds of accounts, I was like, well, I can't abide by this, so. But I also can't, well, I was gonna ironically say I'm not gonna chastise you for using what works, but you're telling me that Stream Elements wasn't working, so. Did I say Stream Elements? Streamlabs. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. I'm a fool. I'm a fool. But yeah, I hope you had a good time playing games and demos. Fucking... I'm really trying not to just do blind playthroughs anymore. So even in the case of a Next Fest sort of situation where it's like, you don't have to spend long on these games. I don't... the Russian roulette. If anything, I feel like Resident Evil is different just because horror game, very decently linear. Not a lot of difficulty, even though we lost a lot of progress fucking last night. Which is always fun. Yeah. Also, Zaid, I don't know if you saw, but I got my first book edited. So with that in mind, I'm just going to be adding more writing, a little bit more, and then putting it out. What do you think of this drawing so far? Do you love it? I was thinking of... I was quiet, not because I was trying to press for Zaid, but I was thinking of the SpongeBob bit. You know, in that episode. SpongeBob is like, do you love it? And then Squidward blows him up with a pie. I'd hope that my friend Zaid cares about me enough to blow me up with a pie. You know, if I were to die right now due to the careless recklessness of a friend, well, that would just be okay. Some sort of fiery explosion. We love some classic SpongeBob. I don't know if they sell a box set of like the first 5 seasons of SpongeBob, but I would buy it. I do have the fucking movie on VHS, so that's fun. Man, at some point... You know... Trying to think. What would be a better ask for Christmas from family? A Yu-Gi-Oh book or Sonic? I know, nerd shit, but I was like, I want to get you something specific, and I'm like, okay. Here are volumes. Here are tomes. Here are the ancient tomes. I'm probably just gonna ask for the Yu-Gi-Oh books because I really want the Yu-Gi-Oh manga. I can't wait. I'll probably talk to my dad about that because we're usually getting each other books. I'll be like, okay, Dad, I need you to look at something. This one is like Saw. You know Saw from Saw? This is Saw, so this isn't what I want. I want the one with the funny monsters. I feel like that's one of like the... Typically, there's some like fun facts where people pointed out to be like, isn't this edgy? But honestly, I do think it's legitimately fun that the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Made like a whole kind of like death game gambling manga first, and then after that, he was like, no, children's card game. Same plot basically, but children's card game. So, does start with kidnapping a grandpa though. So how kid-friendly can it be, you know? That. Frankly, I wouldn't have... If someone tried kidnapping my grandpa, I wouldn't approve at all. I wouldn't give them a PG-13 rating. Well, they'd get NC-17 for me. I feel like I saw like a... Speaking of like fun fact shit, I feel like I saw a trivia video a while ago that was saying like, apparently if some movies are some movies get threatened with NC-17, not in that they necessarily need that rating, but in that, you know, wanting to make sure they tone it down a bit. The censors are like, well, give it NC-17, and then the producer is like, but that would mean no money. So I don't know the validity of that. I don't work in the film industry. So, not since the incident. You know, I will say, I feel like one reason... Oh lord. One reason I've wanted to move away from like my current day job and move into like, you know, fancy fields like art is just because like my current day job, I'm just kind of doing the same thing repeatedly forever, non-stop, which, as I was just saying, wears me out. But with like art and what have you, you tend to contribute to a larger process, a larger project over time. So I also feel like that's one reason why a couple streams ago I was thinking about farming, just the concept of farming, you know, because in many ways farming is the same thing, contributing over a long period of time to one project. So, like, don't get me wrong, it is kind of the same thing day in and day out as far as I know, but there is like a ever evolving aspect. And so y'all ever think of the turnip farming scene in Dragon Ball? in Dragon Ball Super? I do. Just Piccolo, Krillin, and Goku farming some turnips. Honestly, there were like that and some Vegeta stuff that really started kind of poking its nose into like slice of life Dragon Ball anime. Those are some of the things I'd really tend to enjoy about Super. Good times. Drink of water. Oh goodness. I already don't like this building. Can I just say? This building that's front and foremost and is like weirdly tiered. Don't like that at all. For my purposes. Oh well. Throw it in there. You know, let me talk about this. I really don't think there's many people here, but I want to talk about it anyway. I was thinking, right? So in this basically alternative history world I've set up, like fucking several cities, several major cities across the world have been essentially redone or otherwise lifted onto these big, like, mega structures, making them these just massive singular entities. And the book gives a lot of reasons for that. Like, I say that as though I'm reviewing someone else's shit, which is concerning for a number of reasons. But I try to give a lot of reasons for that, just because I think it looks cool. But I also realize that the time frame I kind of give for this happening is almost like 2 decades. And granted, there's a lot of sci-fi here, so you have plenty of robots and what have you to help you do the work, but still, I have to imagine there was a lot of overlap and not a lot of pushback. I do think it's not every city, it's just some of the biggest ones. So, also Detroit, because you can't have shit in Detroit. That's not even a joke. I list Detroit as one of the cities in there. You'll never, and you will never know why. That's something I won't explain. You'll never know why I list Detroit as one of the cities of the future. Mystery lost time. So. Honestly, this is starting to look pretty good. In that the buildings are getting more detailed, yada yada yada, so at least we got that going. Yeah. I wish it was I don't know if I've said how much I said on stream. I think I've said this before, but I'm going on a vacation at the start of... it is kind of a small vacation, I have to admit. It's just a long weekend. And I'm going to travel for a decent amount of it, so... You know. It's not like a week in Hawaii, but... I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be super nice. But man... that can't come soon enough. Like I said, I think it should be illegal to get people out of their comfy beds. So, if I'm getting out of my comfy bed, that should be my choice. And less often via obligation. Everyone should get a small handful of sleepy bed tickets that they at the beginning of any given year, and once in a while, for true emergencies, what was I thinking of? You're able to redeem those to wake someone up from their comfy sleepy bed, right? And if you're out of them, you can't do it unless it's like a life-saving emergency. And you better be ready to prove that you need to do it to save their life in court. Because goodness help you. Goodness help you if you wake someone from their comfy sleepy bed without a sleepy bed ticket. And it wasn't a life-saving emergency. God have mercy on you. I just think that's how the world should work. Frank Lee. Stan Lee's lesser-known brother, Frank Lee. I have realized something. We're gonna... actually, no, that should be fine. Here's the thing, right? It would be a bad idea for me to do those like receding lines individually, because then they won't all necessarily line up. And yeah, this is kind of a perspective shot, but the perspective doesn't change that much over the... Okay, this perspective might change a bit. So with that in mind, right about here. There we go. I can make that work. That works. Works for me. Man, I've had a lot of songs stuck in my... Even as we're listening to some great Sonic music, I've had a lot of songs stuck in my head that from just... I'm not even gonna list them, because I don't know the entire songs, and they're just from weird-ass context. And I don't feel like... I don't think any of them are, like, bad or what have you, but I'm like... No, I don't fucking... I have nothing to say. I have nothing more to say on the matter, because... I don't know anything about it. It's kind of like... It's like hearing a song that existed before a commercial, and then you get that stuck in your head, and you don't know it's not from the commercial, but it's the only way you know the song. So the song is... So now the song is just in you. And all you can think of while you do it is the commercial. But if you told someone about the song, they'd be like, I love that band, and you're like, I don't know it from the band. I only know it from the fucking depression medicine commercial. They're like, There's an ad I see a lot on the TVs while I'm at work. Because, you know, there's plenty of TVs and fucking, like, visiting areas and what have you. And it uses I don't even remember the product it's advertising. But it uses a Greatest Showman starring Hugh Jackman, one of those songs, as its like jingle, something it does. It plays it throughout the entire the entire commercial, but they've Weird Al parodied it so that instead of like the title of the song or whatever playing at a certain part during the chorus throughout the commercial, it's the name of the product. And like, I haven't seen Greatest Showman. I'm not about to like trash talk it or anything, but that's the problem. Is that I haven't seen Greatest Showman, and even so, it gets on my nerves how much I just know the song because of that commercial, and it gets me even more annoyed that I know it's a Weird Al style parody that has conflated the title of the song with, you know, some type of medicinal brand, apparently. It's literally just a just a recipe to drive you insane. I almost say like deja vu, you know? In that it's like the feeling of something familiar, but you can't put your hand on it, your finger on it. You can't put your entire hand on it. Except I know why I recognize the thing. Except counterpoint, I haven't seen that. It's weird. Other new law to go with sleepy bedtime law. No remixing or co-opting existing songs for your commercial. You can play the song in the commercial as background music, but you don't get to change the lyrics or melody or anything. You either buy it vanilla or you get a new song. I will strongly defend my position on this. Here's the thing, I don't know of other examples of commercials that have done that, but I do know they exist. Like, I can't name any brands or commercials that have also done that off the top of my head, but I know for a fact that it's been a thing. You know, I do not give credit to this medical brand for coming up with this. It's almost certainly a marketing tactic from days gone by, which didn't work then and doesn't work now, but they're convinced it does. So, marketing is weird. Technically, I took a class on marketing for like art stuff, and I still don't know how it works. So, if anything, you're just throwing enough buzzwords out there, and I know I used that right this time. You just throw enough buzzwords out there that you make the people in charge go ooh, and then they do a thing. So, no, that's not good. Work it out, make it happen. There was a song, I think, from Gumball that I could have sworn was like a real 80s song, but I don't think it was. I just think it was very similar to a real 80s song, and it gave me similar like working out vibes. And you might be like, Cahill, isn't that what you were complaining about with the medicine ad? And I would counter, no, because it's not a real song that's been with the lyrics changed. It's more so an original song that just reminds me of other songs. And fucking, that doesn't have to be in a show or anything. Regular top 40s could remind me of other popular songs, so... That's far too much of a slippery slope. The thing I'm specifically complaining about only applies in the world of, like, marketing and what have you. So... Cannot be... it cannot be applied to the world of TV animation. I refuse to let it be. I'm trying to think. Here's the problem with this little building right here. A real building that exists. And that people probably use. But here's the problem with it. Perspective's a little weird. I don't know if it's a good idea for me to try and put this in here. I think it's gonna just... I can tell it's round. I don't know what about this building is making it so that I'm able to tell it's rounded. But it is. Honestly, given the way I've described the city, I think it would be better if I just keep kind of going like... Yeah, put this right here. So, we'll just have it that certain buildings are missing when I feel like it. I don't feel like drawing that today. Away. Could you imagine if you had like some kind of like artist's death note where instead of, you know, writing down people's names and they die like a fucking maniac. What I'm about to describe is work, so I don't know why I came for the death note like that. But instead of writing down people's names and they die, you're drawing in it, and when you don't feel like drawing something, it just disappears from existence until you feel like drawing it again. See, I told you that would be worse. Because you could argue, like, it would ostensibly get the same effect. In that if you're drawing like a crowd shot and you point to someone in the background, you're like, I don't feel like drawing that right now. That person will just end up disappearing. Until you draw them, which is not great. But... what are you gonna do? Say la vie. You win some, you lose some. Children. That's another Dragon Ball meme. In abridged. I do love me some Dragon Ball Bridge. I've said that many times. I'll sing that thing's praises till the cows come home. And the cows are planning to be out all night, so... that would take a while. We're getting... honestly, I wasn't sure, like, how much detail or trickery I'd have to put into this to make it feel like a full thing. But already this alone, without any, with, like, most of the buildings not having any detail, I already feel like we're getting pretty close. I do want to make sure I include that building, which I'm pretty sure is some kind of records building, if I'm not mistaken, in real life. And then, what was I thinking of? Then we'll see about, like, I'll probably try adding details to the, to shit first before I try adding the, you know, the space needle like I was talking about. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Lord, perspective is a whole thing. I'm sure an art critic would rag on me. I was thinking about it because I saw a video of someone talking about an old painting people mentioned and were going to ham on he was going to ham on the perspective in comparison to people saying how good the painting was. So, that in mind, I would point out on record. I already know that fucking my perspective here is probably all a little wonky, but anytime I go like or shrug, I think of that. I don't know what it's from. It's probably from an anime, because it has that signature like anime voiceover sound where you know, where someone goes ee and then someone mimics them ee and then they start yelling, and I imagine like shaking them violently, but very funny. Even without knowing the context of that scene, I already know that when the second person starts yelling, they start violently shaking the person, and in turn, they're in a language I don't understand. They're like, "What the fuck do you mean, ee?" That's fun, you know. Sometimes it's easier to cross that language barrier than you think. Yeah, man, I just don't think we ever really got over that language barrier. It's not your fault, man. What, you speak English? Yeah, I've spoken English the whole time. I think that's a different meme, and that's from Sunny in Philadelphia, I think. Definitely sounds like a Charlie Day. Mr. Luigi himself. Not enough people talk about him as Luigi. He did a good job. Actually, I don't know if I talked about this on stream. I saw the Mario movie on a trip, right? And I don't know if this is a hot take or not. That movie would be better with the voices turned, with just silent. Just no voice acting. And I don't mean to be rude, but because I feel like to a degree it's also like the writing, because it's got like a simple story, right? And that's fine. I don't even fault that as a problem with the movie. But like with that in mind, and keeping in mind, you know, Mario in game and stuff like that, you don't really need the voice actors going like crazy. Well, and first off, some people would say they didn't even hire voice actors to begin with. But you don't need a bunch of voice actors going crazy on the mic in here, because you could basically have the characters pantomime everything, which they already kind of do, and then the story would be clear. Hiya, Paula. We're drawing Paula. We're drawing that character. It's him. It's this guy. He has the many eyeballs. He does that. Him. Hope you're doing well, Paula. Paula, would you say it's a hot take that I think the Mario movie is really good, so long as you have, like, the voices turned all the way off? As long as you have just turned off the voice channel for the entire movie. Which one? The animated one. The one with a crispy rat in it. And here's the thing, Paula. I'm not even saying that for him. I'm saying that because I think just the script in general is unnecessary. You don't need explanation. You can get what's happening just from the events. The well done animation. And as such, you know, having characters explain shit becomes superfluous. But I enjoyed it. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, right? I liked it. It's just that my it's just that my takeaway was like, these characters don't need to talk at all. You would have to make so few changes to this movie to make it work well as a silent film with just music going over it. And honestly, probably wouldn't have sold as well to kids, but I think it would have made it a better movie. So, was that Sony? Was that Sony or DreamWorks? I think that was Sony. I forget, but anyway, yeah, that movie looks, the music's visuals and like music and everything, great. They did an amazing job. Writing, yeah. I do like fucking Donkey Kong and Mario bonding over daddy issues. That's pretty great. Didn't expect it to happen. Actually, weirdly kind of fits the characters. But, oh, I've made a mistake. But yeah. Movie making's weird, you know? Like I said, I'm not in the film industry. I just realized something. In this dystopia I've created, where LA has been condensed to a megapolis downtown area with the surrounding suburbs completely demolished. Do they still make movies in LA? Why am I asking chat? I'd literally be the only person on earth who knows the answer. But is Hollywood still a thing? If the surrounding LA area is otherwise destroyed? Me ask chat something about my own fucking book. Lord, that's about like, that's like Oda in a one of those, you know, letter segments. Oda mentioned that how much he uses the One Piece wiki to remember what characters can do. Which honestly, good on him. It's smart, it's effective. There's no reason not to do it. So I'm glad he's taking advantage of the modern age. That being said, like, you know, people tend to joke about Araki, you know, from JoJo forgetting stuff. I don't think he could use his own Wikipedia for that. I think typically the fans are waiting for him to explain what the what the characters are capable of, rather than the other way around. Even in the event of a character doing something kind of weird and supernatural, a lot of people in JoJo would probably just be like, oh, that was a weird one-time thing. As so often happens. You know, sometimes characters just do stuff to be creepy and intimidating. Like fucking, is Bruno Bucciarati able to actually lick people and tell if they're lying? Or was he just being intimidating? The world may never know. So, sorry JoJo fans. Araki won't be using your hard work today. None of us know what the hell is going on. Not you, not Araki, not Jojo. Not Jojo, not Jojo, not Jojo. Several Jojos later. What? Okay. I was like, isn't in that one SpongeBob, I know we're back to SpongeBob. Because I was about to be like, in that one with Plankton's family, what's the name they give to all the different Planktons? But then I realized I'm conflating two jokes from two different episodes. Like, all the Plankton's cousins do have similar names, but it's not like the exact same. There's just so many of them that Plankton goes, alright, I get it! Which that's just kind of how I've lived my life for the longest time, you know? Every now and then I'm just able to silently infer things, so as people keep explaining it to me, I zone out a little bit. I'm just like, no, yeah, I get it. And I got like a 50-50 hit rate with that. Half the time I'm able to figure things out, and honestly, good enough hit rate for me. Oh, Grace, fun to see what the subject on screen. Speaking of classic stuff, I don't know if I've ever said on this channel before, we need to play the classic Sonic games at some point. Maybe after I'm done platinuming Epic Mickey. Because I love those games. And I love classic Eggman design. Classic Eggman design is peak character design. Granted, it's not the kind of thing they could have kept when they evolved Sonic's design. That would have been weird for everyone but the one human character to get more complex with the passage of time, but still. If anything, that just makes me more down to have, like, classic games as a separate entity from other mainline Sonics. So I can deal with it. Grace fine to see what's up on the screen. I'm a thought. Eggman's raps are too fast for me. I'm not able to keep up with his genius. Only in my wildest dreams. Bum bum. Also, he's able to play the saxophone. Also, in the manual for Sonic Heroes, they call Eggman a feminist, which is pretty cool. I don't know if that was a mistranslation or not, but listen, he's smart enough to know that everyone deserves equal rights and treatment, so as long as he's in charge, he's fine with whatever. I've said that about, like, Dr. Doom before. Like, within the fiction of the Marvel Universe, Victor Von Doom has been proven to be, like, the best leader for humanity on a quantifiable level, right? Humanity really only goes in a good direction if Doom is in control, right? I'm like, okay, so I'm down for that. But I feel like that only comes with the singular caveat that if he's in control, you know, he's gonna be real egotistical about it, to the point that, like, if you fuck with him at all, things will go bad for you specifically. And I've always wondered whether or not I'd be able to take that caveat, or how many other people will, you know? Because on one hand, right, like freedom of speech and expression, real important, I'm here for it. On the other hand, one could argue that if Doctor Doom makes everything perfect, would there be anything to criticize him over in the first place, right? Like if we step into this deal with Doom saying, I'd make the best world possible, and the only thing I ask is that you feed my ego a bit, I'd be like, well, if you do your job, then yeah, that wouldn't be any problem. You know what I mean? Like, if life's never been better because Doctor Doom is in charge, then I don't see any reason why I would have a problem with the guy. Probably have pretty nice things to say. It's weird. Is that considered a catch-22? Oh no. Is that a catch-22 or a trolley problem or any other number of like fucking philosophical quandaries that have been coined in the everyday vernacular over the years? I have just well, actually. Okay. There we go. I was like, wait, how am I actually gonna accurately, like, divvy up these windows? And I was like, wait a minute. I can just look at the real thing. Turn down opacity. I could literally sleep for 1,000,000 years. This is what I mentioned before, you know? It's like, apparently you can't, quote-unquote, catch up on sleep. And, granted, I wouldn't like to live life in such a way that I necessarily have the need to catch up on sleep at any given point. But, counterpoint, the idea that I can lose out on sleep and then just never get it back no matter what I do, that upsets me. It's like, no, give me my sleep back. I mean, you know, in some ways, whether or not it works on a physical level, having to wake up really early one day and then getting to sleep in a long time the next, that is catching up on it in a sense, the return to innocence. But I don't know. I think everyone should just get a good old 8 hours of sleep, you know? 8 hours of sleep, still be able to do whatever you want. Frankly, I definitely never want people to be like, okay, I either do this or I get to sleep. That's an awful thing to make people choose. Let people get their Z's in. Their Zenless Zone 0. I looked at that game Zenless Zone Zero, and it had a lot of ladies in it. And I said, whoa, this game has a lot of ladies. That actually looks fine. I was like, is this gonna look good at all from a distance? And it does, so we're gonna leave it. This is fine. This is acceptable. Up, 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 up. Oh, Lord. Man, you know what I thought of the other day? I want to go to a diner and get pancakes. Go to a good breakfast diner and get me some pancakes. I haven't done that in too long. Pancakes are great. Good breakfast diner pancakes. Oh. Best thing in the world. Makes you realize there's a God. You just have to get the right kind of pancakes. And if you don't believe that, you haven't had the right pancakes yet. So, don't worry, chat. If you haven't had good pancakes yet, I'll make sure I get enough for everyone. Get like 24 pancakes for everyone I know. Oh. I'll leave that there for right now. Okay. I feel like sometimes this is the problem. More than perspective or anything else. The real problem with making drawings of buildings realistic looking is that sometimes buildings just have weird layouts for their windows. And copying all those details can be nigh on impossible. So, takes a lot of doing. Okay. Get that eraser. Bring out your erasers. Lord, have y'all ever, for anyone who's been to Disney, have you ever gone to one of the attractions where they teach you how to draw the characters? They're like, your pencils don't have erasers on them, because you're not allowed to make mistakes. And I'm like, that's bullshit. That's not a thing in art at all. Whoever decided this needs to be fired! Fucking so much art is digital nowadays because people are just like, I want to be able to undo all my mistakes. And you want to know something? I get it. I'm really not going to sit here and pretend like wanting to be able to undo an experiment or miscalculation in your art at a moment's notice is wrong. Yeah. If you ever go to some kind of like one-time drawing class or something, and they hand you a pencil without any erasers, just know that that's horse piss. They would pull some horse piss like that. I'm legitimately just trying to focus on getting these lines straight. That's where most of my brain power is going right now. Goes in the square hole. How is this looking? I mean, hey, that looks like a city so far. I'll say that much, you know. Looking like a city. You know, there's sometimes I wish I could just always be drinking caffeine, which probably isn't healthy. That might be quantifiable as an addiction. But conversely, without caffeine, I'm very low energy. And I'd love just some more energy. Honestly. Alright. Back to it. I know for a fact some of these buildings have easier windows than the ones I'm doing. I say that and I don't see any. I don't see any here. And where are these buildings? Are they in the room with us now? Like, alright. Like, look at this. Look at the weirdness of all these dots on this building. This building is nothing but dots. Or I should just make a... I should make like a weird grid pattern. Lay that out. I might actually do that for that. For that one in particular, but... we'll see. We see. Honestly, I don't really expect to work on this another stream. Because, like, with the city and everything laid out, and, you know, so much of that kind of... so much more progress done on the book itself. I have no doubt I can sit down once or twice to get, like, the last details of the ink and then some of the coloring and what have you done for this color portion. So then we can use stream to, you know, work on interior illustrations. Which honestly probably will not involve nearly as much detail. Which is always good. Just a little less detail, if you will. From me, pretty please. Alright. Yeah, it was just a little, like, honestly, I wouldn't even say I had a bad day at work today, but it got crazy. It got crazy, and I got sleepy, and honestly, so, like, 20 minutes before stream, I realized, like, you know something? I could use a nap. I'm like, well, that's not happening right now, so... try to keep somewhat of a schedule. I do attempt a little bit to keep things on track. Even with the odds stacked against me. I love how I phrased it like that. One man. Attempting to stream, kind of, I guess. Yeah, that looks good. We love to see it. Honestly, I feel like I should almost go for less detail in a minute. Not even to make it easier on myself, just for readability. Oh, wait, what? Okay. Actually, let me work on like this one smaller build. No, I did not move that. Okay. I moved some of the buildings around so to get an idea of what details they should be having. I have to look in different places. Oh, that is way too thick a line. I don't need my lines that thick. Whoa! Oh my god. Different points just barely not lining up. It's getting on my nerve. Yeah. Make sure you get your right sleep, chat, you know? It's important for you. I feel like I've definitely talked before about how, like, you know, they'll just make a million different articles about different stuff being healthy or not healthy for you in, just because, oh lord. Oh, I made an awful mistake. Is this about to crash this? It did not. But now I have to undo what I just did. Okay, that was actually pretty easy. A lot of menu stuff chat couldn't see. Anyway. But you know, because saying something is or isn't healthy for you gets a lot of clicks on your website. And I almost feel like sleep is one of those things. Honestly, I cannot confirm nor deny, but I feel like there's been a decently differing opinions about sleep over the years on how much important it plays in any one life. From like, you know, you should get sleep, I guess, to sleep is the most important thing in the world. I don't know. Honestly, I'm only kind of in charge of my sleep schedule, so I don't really get a choice in the matter. Like, eating's one thing. I can control my diet a good amount to a decent degree. I just kind of go with the easiest option for me, Cahill. But the amount of sleep you get can disturbingly depend on just the other people present in your life at any given moment. Honestly. You wanna know something? I might try not actually doing little dots for these. No. Here's what I'll... So, for this one tall building, well, I like how I called it a tall building. It's fucking... It's shorter than the other one. For this square building, I'll do a vertical hatching. I think that would work best. But like I said, I don't want it to be just such a mess of details that it becomes unreadable. So at that point, I kind of got to think to myself, like, how would one simplify this and still kind of have it read as a similar type of window? How can I simplify this while still having it be Windows 11? I don't know anything about Windows 11. I don't know if that's the good or the bad one. Definitely heard different things. It might be the one that Pig was talking about that fucking installed their AI shit without his permission. So that's not good for sure. So we're good. No, we're good. You know, always check to make sure anything on your installed on your computer is meant to be there, because things can be sneaky, even when they're from, like, you know, official developers and shit like that. So heck, that's why people start putting fucking duct tape over their cameras, which is always fun. I don't know how much that is, like, you know, I don't know how many people do that because they're afraid of some conspiracy theory junk. But I wonder how many people do it specifically because they're afraid of, like, joining something and then accidentally having their camera turn on. You know? Like given our post-COVID world, how many people put tape over their camera to make sure they don't accidentally play video on a Zoom call? I wouldn't know. I don't join a lot of Zoom calls. I just felt like I heard something like breathing coming through my headphones. That was weird. Maybe it's just the way I was just kind of resting my head. Maybe that was making it sound like someone breathing into my headphones. Not a sensation I'd recommend. At least not if you don't know where the breathing's coming from. Lord, you know, I don't know if I've ever talked about this. I knew what ASMR was before I learned about, like, the whole sensation, like the whole, like, internet craze of ASMR, right? Like, I knew the feeling they were describing. And I got it from, like, different mundane activities. So when I learned that people do, like, fucking roleplay scripted videos for it, I was like, It's like, I get what you're going for, but this still manages to weird me out, actually. Honestly, watch whatever YouTube vids you want, but goodness gracious. Listen, subscribe to whatever OnlyFans you want, but goodness gracious. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised. Like, I wouldn't say I'm the biggest Sonic fan in the world for several reasons. But I am kind of surprised we've gone so long on this channel never having streamed a Sonic game. Actually, I have done Mania before, haven't I? There's that, but distinct lack of Sonic games. Because I love the classic 2D ones. Then like I've played Colors. I wasn't as wild about that, but I still liked it. And then I keep talking about getting Adventures, and then after all that, then we can stream Generations. I don't know if I talk about this on stream. It's funny to me that they're doing, like, quote-unquote Shadow Generations, when I think Shadow has only been playable in, like, 2 games. You know? Just like, I think that would be Shadow Generation. Singular. Oh, I guess 06. Has he been playable in anything besides, like, mainline? Has Shadow been playable in anything besides, Adventure 2, Heroes, and, well, Adventure 2, Heroes, 06, and, I guess his own game. Okay. He's had a few, you can play him in a few games. I'll give you that much. In my defense, they're all kind of clumped together. Shadow just doesn't have the distinct kind of a, you know, generational split that Sonic does that enabled them to do that game. So that's something that had me concerned. I was so worried about Shadow for a second. Wow, you want to know something? I don't think this side should have any windows. That's right, I'm taking your window privileges. That's it, get up on the fridge. I hate this family! Do a bit of a stretch. You know what, why not? Why not? Wow. Let's get this one out of the way right now. Up. Get a thin pencil, move it over here. And then, oh, actually, probably be better to start from this side. And do my best to draw it straight down. I love how lines and circles are typically considered like quote-unquote easy. Like those are easy shapes. Meanwhile, it's a son of a bitch to draw a straight line or a circle, so I don't know where people got that notion. People who don't draw just kind of deluded themselves into seeing that those common shapes and being like, you know what? that's beginner stuff, and it's like, no, you must be an old master. Only the greats. Oh, well, let me... What if I move this all the way to this side, right? Okay, that's pretty good. Works for me. Honestly, probably just do this. Oh. Man, I already need another drink of water before I doze off to bed. I drank a whole bottle of water sitting here streaming, and I'm like, another. Delicious. I'll take 17 of them. Do you know what's in them? No. Do we truly know what's in our tap water? That sounds like a fucking... That sounds either like the start to a conspiracy theory video, or to just like a simple kids science video on how to like test to see what's in like water or chemicals. You know how they have like those acid... I was gonna say acid strips, but that's what the drug is, right? They're like tester strips. You've probably seen them before. Let me see about something. I'm doing my best. I'm not just trying to phone it in with, you know, half-assed window designs. So trying to make that good stuff. So I did just realize I left this building marred by interdimensional windows. Did I talk about that on stream? About the idea of like phasing through. You know how there's that whole like almost science fiction idea that like your atoms can line up with shit and phase through other atoms? Because I remember, I think at one point I was like, you know, that would be over some, like, it's never gonna happen with like something profound. Like, they're not gonna be testing for it and it happens. It would be with something stupid, like, you know, fucking like a frat bro goes to hit his friend and then their hand accidentally ends up atomically attached to the friend's cheek or something like that. I think I might just be going to leave the these hatching lines as they are. I legitimately think that's the best this building is going to look from a distance. And then honestly, I might actually just paint this one in the back here. Alright. What was I thinking of? Honestly, if it's alright with you folks, I think I'm going to turn in for the night. Just because I'm tired. I'm tired. Long week. I did save. Okay. I do hope to do some longer streams next week. But, you know, I had fun this week doing my streams. So I hope you enjoyed them. Let's see if there's anyone big to raid. That way I can slip away and get some sleep. You know what? How about we just raid Barry? We'll raid Barry and I'll go to sleep. I hope y'all had a fun night. Thank you, Paula. Chances are I'm going to be back Saturday with a good long Resident Evil stream. Cross my heart and hope to die. And I will see y'all then. Yep. Have a good night. Bye.